Welcome to part 3 of the Mercedes GT63s project. So, it turns out this car was owned by footballer Ashley Young. I found out when one of his friends messaged me on Instagram. What a small world we live in, and it also looks like the value of this car has gone up now. Lucky me. I mean, what are the chances you buy a car from auction belonging to a famous footballer? The plot thickens. It seems the car was with Mercedes for a whole year before it got sent off to auction. In part 1 and part 2, you guys saw that I bought this from auction as a non-runner for £86,000. While that's a lot of money for a car that's not running, it's still very cheap as it's a 2021 model and only has 4,000 miles on it. Similar spec and mileage in the market are going for around £120,000, which is a nice 34k margin, so this may be an amazing bargain. Today is the day we strip the engine down to see just how bad the damage is and will tell me my fate as far as cost is concerned. Without further delay, let's get straight into it. New day for the GT63s. Yesterday we had the engine pulled out completely. Let's go have a look. Nice little Audi RS4 here. Here's the V8 M177 engine hoisted onto the engine stand. And now the process is basically stripping the engine down. Not the complete engine, it's the cylinder head that's going to come off first. You know what, I'll show you from the other side, it's more clear. So here, this is the complete engine. I'll run you through what it is. This is the engine block at the bottom, and that's the cylinder head. Notice that V shape? That makes the engine a V8, yeah? And the 8 comes from the number of cylinders. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 cylinders on this side and 4 on the other side. This is a V8 twin turbo engine, and what we're doing today, because we know the car is overheated, is basically taking the cylinder heads off for now, and then we're going to check the trueness of the block and the heads, obviously, for both of them. Get them sent to the machine shop to get pressure tested, as when they overheat they lose shape, so they're not perfectly flat, and they need to be. And that's why we're losing compression. That's why we had low compression on part 1 of the video. Once the heads are off, we'll be checking the trueness. From there we can decide what we're doing next. Since we're going to take the cylinder heads off anyway, it'd be wise to check the bottom end as well, just to make sure it's not suffered any damage as well at the same time. So we'll be turning the crank manually to check the bores, make sure they're all perfect, and possibly open the sump and check the bearings as well, just in case we got damage, and we assemble everything back together, put it back in the car, and you find out once we start it, there's other problems. We really don't want that happening. So we currently have all the wire looms taken off. What else have you taken off so far? Water pump? Water pump. Housing and whatnot. Wiring looms are off. We've now got the turbo off, so let's get this off now. We've got to strip it all down, to be honest. Here we go. That's where the turbo sits. And these are the cylinder heads. It's more clear to see now as it's been stripped out a lot more. This is the cylinder head right here. With the head gasket in between that. And yeah, we'll be taking both of them off and we'll inspect further. We now have to get the rocker covers off, take the head bolts out, and it's coming off. So what we have here is timing tools for the car. Before we start stripping everything down, what we're going to do is put the timing tools in place. We confirm the timing so that when we strip it down and put it back together, we know exactly how it goes back on. Even though we might know how to do it, it's just better to confirm at the start while you're stripping it down. So this here is a crankshaft pulley. It is connected to the crankshaft internally, and that is also obviously connected to the pistons and the rods inside. So what we're going to do now is set the timing marks. You've got to spin it around, and as you can see there's a few holes for the locking tool to go through, and as you can see it's a smaller hole there. the tool will go right through there and lock the crankshaft in place where it's supposed to be, and then you do it in the relevant places as well for the top of the timing chains, and that will be the timing mark set. So we've just turned the crankshaft and lined up the hole inside, and this is the locking tool. As you can see, it goes right through inside, which will prevent the crank from moving now. This is what we mean by locking it in place. There you go. Now, that's the bottom part set. We're going to set the timing at the top, and that will give us exact timing marking for this car, for this engine.
A few moments later.
We are now removing the rocker cover. That will expose the camshafts and obviously the head bolts as well, for us to remove the head completely. We're just going to gently pry the rocker cover off now. It's a bit sealed up from the sealant. There you go. Camshafts exposed. So next up, basically, what we're going to do is make sure the top end is timed up, corresponding to the one at the bottom. And then we're going to go ahead and remove the timing tensioners, which hold the guides in place. Remove the adjusters, take the chain off, camshafts out, head bolts off, and cylinder head out. You can see the bolt pushing from underneath. So we have to remove the alternator to get access to the tension on this side. However, the other side, tensioner is exposed. Right there. See this one? If you follow it through, that's that. That pushes onto the guide, keeping it tight. We've got the alternator removed now. The tensioner is still behind this bracket, so let's remove this next and go from there. This is the timing chain tensioner that we are taking off at the moment, and I'll show you what happens when we take this off. So that's the tensioner now removed, which will now slacken the timing chain. There you go. So now we can begin to take the chains off, camshaft adjusters, camshafts, and then the cylinder head. The big moment of reveal, basically. So this is the remaining two brackets that hold the camshaft down. We should now be able to lift the camshaft up, and yeah, there you go. Now what I'm going to show you is inside the cylinder head, these are the head bolts, cylinder head bolts. They are basically bolted onto the block holding the head in. So we're going to remove that now and remove the head. That's the head bolt there. Goes right through into the block. So that is all the head bolts taken off from the cylinder head. What? Rust clot. Why do you say rust clot? Alright, so what's the initial impressions you're getting from this?
This is where the water leaking from. So the black
Okay.
side.
So the compression loss, yeah?
Yeah, losing compression and water. So the compression go back into the water. See? This is it.
Okay.
Right here.
This is why we had low compression on these cylinders, yeah?
Yes.
Right.
So these two. And these one.
I see. Okay.
And if you come down here, so.
To the cylinder head.
Cylinder head.
Here's the gasket, yeah?
Here's it. Right there.
This is the gasket here.
Yeah, and this is right there.
Same sort of impression you have on there as well.
Compression, water. It's good, man. It's good, man. This is fucking tough, bro.
Strong.
Strong one.
I saw a print on there, it said made in Germany.
See, look.
That's why. Alright, okay.
It's a 1, 2, 3. Water. It's a water pass.
So what we want to do tomorrow is a flat check on this. Without a doubt, it's out of shape. It'll be like warped.
Yeah.
So we'll do a flat check on this tomorrow to confirm and show you why it's going to the machine shop to be skimmed. Well, pressure tested first and then skimmed. Same thing we're going to do on the other side cylinder head, goes without saying. But we're also going to do it on the block as well, to make sure the block is true as well. Because it is likely that it can damage the block as well at the same time. And that's when we have to strip everything down and make the engine bare to send it to the machine shop.
Meanwhile,
Look at that. Just look at that amazing car. So excited to get this car up and running again. Can you believe it? A 21 plate GT63s with 4,000 miles on the clock is just sitting there in my workshop without an engine. It's hard to believe, to be honest. No idea who let a car like this blow up. But anyway, it's, what day is it today? Sunday. Tuesday. It's Tuesday right now. 7:30 p.m. I'm going to call it a day, come back tomorrow, remove the other side of the cylinder head, do a check on the block and on the cylinder heads to see if they're out of shape. I know the heads are out of shape for sure, but the blocks. And then we're going to send it off to the machine shop to have it machined, pressure tested and skimmed. And then it'll be the next part of this video where we're going to get all the bits and pieces we need to build the engine back up again and then assemble it together. Lastly, put it back in the beast and start it up for the first time, because since it's been here, it's never started. So looking very, very forward to that. And who knows, if I get gassed, I might just put some damn pipes on it, do a little stage 2 tune and send it to space. Let's see. Too scared to think about that right now. Investment is too large to mess around with cars like this. So let's get this car up and running first and we'll decide. See you tomorrow.
the next day.
Alright, so now as you can see, here's the engine block. Come around here. You can see this is the side of the cylinder head we took off yesterday. And now this side has been off as well. Now I've got some good news. And the good news is, if you come around here, you can see the bores are pretty clean. So there's not actually any damage in it. So we're very lucky, and that also means that we don't have to strip the block completely down, which is going to just make everything go really, really expensive. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a flat check on the cylinder heads, and we obviously know it's overheated anyway. What we're going to do is, once we do a flat check, we're going to take it to the machine shop, get that pressure tested and skimmed, and we'll come back and assemble this engine back up again. So we don't have to go any further down, it's only going to be going upwards basically. Before we go to the cylinder heads, we're going to do a flat check on the block as well, just to make sure that the block is not out of shape. So I've got a feeler gauge here, and I've got a flat checker there, if that's what you call it. Flat checker. Let's go, let's go. There you go. At the moment, the feeler gauge is not going through, which is what I'm expecting it. Yeah, that's good. So far so good. We'll do one cross. So what we're basically checking is if this gauge goes through. If it does, it means there's a problem and it's out of shape. It should be flat throughout. That's fine then, isn't it? We'll do one more like this. Okay, so that means the block is good. There's no need for us to further strip down anywhere below. I will check the other side, but I'm not going to film it. It's the same process, exactly the same on the other side. And then we'll move on to the cylinder heads, which is over there, ready to go to the machine shop tomorrow. A bit of a workshop update. As you can see, show them the workshop. We're always rammed the hell out. We're always so busy. And for that reason, what we decided to do is get 2 additional lifts. Come on, I'll show you. So one is going to go right there, and one's going to go right here. It's just going to help the workshop flow a bit better. Come now, I'll show you. So these are the lifts. They just arrived, and we're just waiting for the installer to come down and put them on, and we will to get some more content out hopefully as well, because that's another reason I went for more lifts, just so that my workshop doesn't slow the process of my YouTube, basically. So yeah, look forward to better and more content. So over here, we got both the cylinder heads removed from this car. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it down here. So with this feeler gauge, I'm going to put it through and check the surface to see how straight. If it's got overheating on it, it gets warped and loses shape. So There's nothing wrong there. Yeah, look, can you see that? It goes right through. See? It's gone to the other side. Look. Even there. See this bit here? That's where we were losing compression from. If I put the gauge over there, watch this. That is our problem. See that? The gauge goes right through. Look at this. That's how it's supposed to be. Well, even there, it's going in. Basically like this. It shouldn't be able to go in. See that? And I think that's it. I could check the other one, and it will fail anyway because you can see the compression loss here regardless. But there's no point of doing that. We're going to send both of them to a machine shop anyway and get it pressure tested and skimmed. And then, yeah, we're going to box the car back up completely. So there you have it. I've shown you what the problems are with the cylinder heads of the GT63s. And literally tomorrow morning, we're going to drop these off to the machine shop. They're going to let us know what the results are in terms of pressure test. The worst thing that can happen with that is they can turn around and say it's losing pressure, which means it's cracked. And that means we're going to have to replace the cylinder head. And these heads are not cheap at all. They're about £2 each, 2.5, 3 grand each. So let's just hope they're not cracked and they're able to skim it down. I'll see you in the next one where we're gonna basically come back with the results from the machine shop alongside all the parts we need to assemble the engine back up, build it up, and yeah, give you guys an update as we go, hopefully. Nams Boost signing out. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, give me a follow on my Instagram. Details are in the description below. So I'll see you guys in the next one.